Hi guys! If you're watching this, then that means you must be ready for your next project. I'm really excited to teach you all about graphic design and the art of typography. Follow along with the PowerPoint and I'll teach you everything you need to know to get started with this project. Okay, so for step 1 of this project, you're going to be creating your own typography portrait. Your new learning goal is I can create digital artwork that expresses personal choices. So typography is a form of art where artists arrange type, or words, or process data and print from it. Some examples you see here is they took words that are important to the state of California and put them into that shape, words into the hand, and all of the names of the different countries in the world. A portrait, which is the second part of your project, is a picture of a person. The only difference between a portrait and a self-portrait is a self-portrait is a picture that you either take of yourself, paint, or draw of yourself. A portrait can be taken by anybody, but it must be of a person. Okay? So, if you combine the two art styles, typography and portrait, you're going to be creating a typography self-portrait, a portrait of yourself that is filled with words that describe yourself. So when we look back at your learning goal, I can create a digital artwork, this will all be on your computers, that expresses personal choices. You're going to get to choose the words and the colors and the fonts and all of that fun stuff. Okay? The reason why we're studying typography portraits is because of the different art careers that it's related to. The first one I want to tell you guys about is graphic design. Graphic design is one of the highest growing art careers, and it's not about just designing things on the computer. I chose this picture because a graphic designer has to be very familiar with colors, how they work together, the color wheel, and trends and fads that are popular in colors, because they're in charge of creating and designing advertisements, magazines, all those spreads that you see in the magazines, the covers. They design brochures for big companies and so much more. So being a graphic designer, you are always working for a consumer or a customer, and most of the time you're trying to interest them in a product or an idea that somebody has hired you to convey. Another really interesting art career is an infographic designer. So here's that word infograph again. So it's probably going to have to do with words and typing words to make them visually appealing to people. So an infographic designer is someone who designs visual representations of knowledge, data, or information. I thought this one was super interesting, designed by an infographic designer. The world at 100 people. So what the world would look like if there was only 100 people. The one on the left is very popular. It came out a few years back with Michelle Obama, the Choose My Plate. And it's just a simple infographic that shows you how many different fruits, vegetables, and things that you need. Okay. For the first step of your project today, you're going to become a digital photographer. You can choose to take a selfie of yourself using your computer, or you and your friends can explore the art room and the art garden and take portraits of each other. The portrait that you use for your project can either be candid or it can be posed. Some things you want to consider when you're taking your picture. Is there enough contrast between your subject and your background? You never want to blend into your background. You want to stick out. So, is the color of your background different than the color of your clothes or the color of your hair? Another thing you want to think about is anything distracting from your artwork? Do you have a really busy background that takes away from your portrait, such as in this example? Or is there something in particular on the background that is going to be distracting to your audience or could change the way that you look in your portrait? Okay? If you're choosing to go outside to take your picture, there are some rules for how I would like you guys to behave. First off, you must stay in the garden area or directly in front of the art room. Never open the gate for anyone for any reason. Remember, you're in a learning environment, so you need to use your inside voices and don't disturb the other classes that are close to us. You don't want to waste your time on this project. Once you are done, come back inside and continue working on your activity list. And the last rule is to think outside of the box. The reason you're going outside is so that you can have a creative backdrop. So think about what you want your picture to be and how you want to express yourself before you decide on a picture. Once you have your picture, you're going to go inside and go to the 5th grade activity list on the art blog. Here you're going to find the 6 simple steps to a successful typography portrait. The first step you already should have done, which is to take a selfie or ask a friend to take a portrait picture of you. The second step is optional. You can edit your photo right on the iPad, or you can skip this step and airdrop your photo to your computer. If you're unfamiliar with how to airdrop from an iPad to a computer, you can watch this screen recording here. If you chose not to edit on your iPad, once you have your picture on your computer, you can edit in Photor or Lunapic. The next thing you would do once you have an edited photo saved on your desktop is to fill out your adjectives list. There's 40 words that are going to describe you and your classmates. I would really like for you to be able to write at least one positive adjective for each member of your classroom, but if this is unreasonable, it is required that you write at least one positive adjective for each member of your art home group, which are the friends that sit at your table. I put this long list of adjectives here to help you out, but please feel free to use any descriptive words that are not on here. Once you have all 40 of your words that you're going to put in your typography portrait, then you would move on to creating your typography portrait in word art. My goal on the first day of this class is just for everybody to finish step 1 and possibly get to the editing or the airdrop. Right? Make sure to stay focused, be on your best behavior, and I will see you guys next week.